love my son. Yeah, I love my son.
What do you want? Do you want a relationship with him? Do you want to see him? Do you want him? Do you get what I'm trying to? What do you want?
You ever talked to him since?
Nah, I ain't talked to him since I was probably like 12.
I want him to pick up the phone and talk to me. That's
Yeah,
all I
like,
want.
what do you like? Don't.
That's it. This is my son, who, when he first became famous, said that I was dead.
I can't tell you how I would feel about it as an adult.
Right.
Because the hurt come from when I was a child. You feel what I'm saying?
My dad this, my dad that, my dad this, my dad that. Man, have some empathy.
And as I got older, it was just like, really, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I get out here on my own. I'm a grown man now.
What if the entire origin story you thought you knew about 21 Savage suddenly got flipped like a movie plot twist? Picture this: a father in London watching his son blow up into a global superstar. While the world believes he's no longer around or completely cut off from the family, now a new chapter is dropping, and it's shaking the hip-hop world with serious force. Kevin Emmons, the biological father of 21 Savage, has stepped forward with documents and details he says finally set the record straight. And the claims he's bringing are making people stare at their screens in disbelief.
This is my son, who, when he first became famous, said that I was dead.
I can relate. I used to say my dad was dead. I can
Right?
relate.
And then it went from I'm dead to us back.
Mad. Did you crack though?
What the am I gonna smoke crack for?
He's showing phone logs, bank records, and timelines that challenge the story many fans believed for years, and the way he lays it all out has everyone talking non-stop. Kevin says he was present for 7 straight years, giving support and staying involved, only to feel like he got removed from his own son's story, and that has sparked huge discussion online. The streets are buzzing, fan pages are debating every angle, and social media is reacting like they just witnessed a twist no one saw coming. Folks everywhere are trying to understand what really happened behind the scenes, because the evidence being shared is intense and raising big questions.
He's going into another country. Yeah, he's going to a totally different country. Not by my choice, right? That's not my choice. First of all, that's not my choice. Why is he going to America? Why is he going to America? He's going to America, yeah? His mum is now married to his now stepdad, yeah? So they're going for a fresh start. Who says he needs a fresh start? She needs the fresh start. He don't need no fresh start. What he needs is what he's had already.
If you're looking to uncover the real background behind one of hip-hop's most talked about family stories and see how a father is stepping forward to correct what he says has been misunderstood by millions, stay locked in, because this situation is turning everything in a brand new direction. But before diving deeper into all the noise and confusion, we need to lay out the true beginning of how this whole story formed. 21 Savage, born Shea bin Abraham Joseph, entered the world in London, England back in 1992. His father, Kevin Emmons, is a Brixton native through and through, raised his entire life in South London, surrounded by the culture, the energy, and the community that shaped him. Kevin shares that music wasn't just something he liked, it was part of his whole identity from the jump. He was into breakdancing, graffiti, DJing, rapping, and dancing, diving into every element of the hip-hop world like it was written into his DNA. He even appeared on BBC programs performing dance routines and joining positive hip-hop productions focused on community and healthy living. That gave people a look at his talent long before any of this drama reached the public. Growing up, Kevin was the youngest of 6 children, and he talks about being surrounded by strong family values that kept him steady. He couldn't step out of line because the whole household, parents and siblings, kept him grounded with structure, love, and clear expectations. That foundation shaped how he carried himself and how he built his life, creating a picture of a man who valued responsibility, creativity, and connection. And now, with all these new details coming to light, this story is unfolding in ways nobody could have predicted, and the next chapters are only getting more intense. He talks about his father like he was the toughest man walking the planet, and he explains that the last person he ever wanted to disappoint was him. That strong family structure kept him focused and away from trouble, because bringing police or any kind of drama to that home would have felt unthinkable to him. That discipline shaped his whole mindset in a big way. Now here's where things start taking a sharp turn. Kevin says he met 21 Savage's mother at a party in East London while he was out with his brothers, and he highlights how important that was because his family always moved as a unit. Wherever he went, they went. That was their style, and that was their bond. When they crossed paths, she was the one who stepped to him, and from there, they started spending time together until suddenly everything changed fast because she became pregnant with the child who would later grow into 21 Savage. But here comes the twist most people never hear about. Kevin says the pregnancy wasn't planned, and when they learned she was expecting, she told him that he needed to completely separate from his entire family and move to America with her. And according to him, the situation didn't stop there. He says she was involved in a group known as the Nuwaubian movement, which he describes from his own perspective as a breakaway version of Islam that focused heavily on uplifting black people. He recalls being given pamphlets and material that pushed ideas he couldn't agree with because he believed wrongdoing can come from any background, not from one group alone. Now imagine being around 21 years old and suddenly the person you're with tells you to walk away from your whole family, leave your country, and follow a belief system you don't align with. That's a lot for anyone to process. Kevin says he couldn't accept those terms, and that decision brought their romantic relationship to an end. But he made it known that he still planned to be a steady presence in his son's life no matter what. And this is the moment where Kevin's version of events starts to become very detailed, shifting into a storyline that is completely different from the one 21 Savage has spoken about in past interviews. According to Kevin, he stayed fully involved during the first 7 years of 21 Savage's life, showing up every single weekend without fail. He explains that every Friday after work, he would grab his keys, drive over, pick up his son, and bring him back to his mother's home where cousins and relatives filled the place with loud family energy. During school breaks, Easter, summer holidays, Christmas, 21 spent his time with Kevin's side of the family, surrounded by people who cared about him and kept him smiling. Kevin also remembers 21 as an incredibly sharp kid with a mind that worked way beyond his age. He tells a story about walking down the street and hearing his son ask him a deep question about life and aging, showing a level of emotional awareness most grown people don't even have. Moments like that, Kevin says, showed how bright and sensitive 21 already was, which left a big mark on him as a young father. He describes 21 as being overjoyed every time he spent time with Kevin's family, always excited, always curious, and sometimes so quick thinking that he'd even get on Kevin's nerves in a playful way because of how sharp he was. Those memories, he says, show how strong their connection truly felt during those early years. But this is where Kevin says things started to shift and the mother's intentions became clearer to him. He claims that during those 7 years, every single time he arrived to pick up his son, she would repeat the same message about moving to America and how he could join them at any moment. Even after their romantic relationship ended, the message kept coming back, almost like she was trying to persuade him to leave everything he built in London and follow her path overseas. Kevin explains that this was the exact issue that caused their breakup in the first place, so he couldn't understand why the same request kept coming up again and again. To him, it felt like the pressure never stopped, even though he believed he already made his decision clear from day one. The turning point in Kevin's story came when 21 Savage was 7 years old, and he says that day is etched into his memory forever. It was a Sunday, and when he brought his son back home, the mother gave him a choice that felt impossible for any parent to face. She explained that she planned to leave the very next day and laid out 3 options, each one life-changing in its own way. Kevin says he already understood that his son was deeply attached to his mother, so leaving him behind didn't seem realistic at all. Trying to keep things steady for his child, Kevin chose what he believed was the most stable path, letting 21 travel with his mother while still keeping their bond strong through consistent visits, just like the routine they had maintained for years.
Right, I got you this phone. It's so that you could phone me and I can phone you. 5th month, $100. 6th month, $100. 7th month, $100. But you're not even phoning me. Why am I spending all this money on this phone and you can't even punch in my numbers, one, call me and hang up the phone so that I know I can call you back?
You know what it is?
Did you have this conversation with him?
I had this conversation with him plenty of times.
He agreed to a plan where his son would return to London regularly, believing this structure would protect their connection and keep life familiar for him. He had no idea how much this move to America would reshape everything that came afterward. When 21 arrived in Atlanta at 7, he stepped into a whole new world with different rules, different energy, and a completely new environment to adjust to. He had to settle into school, figure out how to blend in with classmates, and learn the rhythm of a city that moved at a totally different pace than London. Kids noticed his accent right away, and because he wanted to fit in, he worked on sounding more like the people around him, which became part of his daily adjustment process. On top of that, Kevin says that despite all these changes, 21 still showed a bright and determined spirit, and at first, he performed extremely well in school. He won competitions in spelling and math during the same year, showing everyone how talented he really was. But as he grew older, he started to understand how complicated life could become because of his immigration situation, and learning that certain opportunities might be blocked from him brought a heavy weight onto his shoulders. Feeling stuck and unsure of what his future would look like, he began losing focus in class and drifting into crowds that didn't always help him stay on the right track.
I just want a phone. Like, just send me $100 a month, bro, so I can have me a little metro. You know what I'm saying? I'm in middle school now. Everybody got phones and shit. He ain't want, like, he sent $100 and then he just stopped sending the shit type shit. So I started selling weed to get me a phone, shit like that. But I ain't gonna lie, I used to be hurt by that shit. Like, damn, what my daddy was fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? But then as I got older, it was just like, really fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I get out here on my own. I'm a grown man now.
By 13, he was facing pressures that many young teens don't know how to navigate, and being around neighborhood conflicts made his school life even more stressful. At one point, he brought something to school that he should never have had, trying to feel safe during a time when he felt unprotected, but that choice led to serious consequences. The situation escalated after the item was discovered during a school discipline period, and security footage brought the full story to light. Another student reported what happened, and even though 21 tried to follow the rules afterward, the school still had to take action, which resulted in him being placed on probation before he even reached high school. Kevin says this moment marked the start of a tough chapter that shaped many of the challenges his son would face growing up. Kevin explains that 21 Savage eventually ran into trouble at school because of an incident on the bus where several students were acting out.
That was the first elementary school I went to.
Okay.
So I get on the bus or whatever, they're making fun of me on the way to school.
Okay.
So we get on the bus to go home, they making fun of me on the way home.
Okay.
It's like one of the older dudes, like his little brother was the main one. So the older brother was said something like, basically like, shit, fight him. So we get off the bus, I beat him up. So all the girls, they run and tell my mama.
Okay.
At the door, so
Your sisters?
No,
kids in the neighborhood.
Kids in the neighborhood.
Okay.
So they run, they tell my mama, cause they started, I really was kicking a lot. They started calling me Taekwondo kid. On my mama. It's a true story on my mama.
Even though he wasn't the one causing the problem. Some of the girls on the bus pointed him out as part of the group, and the school removed him even without proof that he participated. When his mother heard what happened, she grounded him for the first time and kept him home to help watch his younger siblings, hoping it would teach him responsibility, but 21 was still slipping out of the house when she wasn't aware. His cousin later told the family that 21 had been hanging around older kids who were taking cars without permission and driving around the neighborhood, which led to more consequences at home. Kevin says this pattern of pushing boundaries and trying to act older than he was continued through his teen years, building more stress around him until his 21st birthday, a day that would eventually mark a major turning point in his life. This is where Kevin's story becomes heartbreaking for him, because he believes a long cycle of broken promises played a heavy role in everything that followed. He explains that the mother had once promised that 21 would return to London every 6 months so he could stay connected with his roots and his family overseas. But according to Kevin, in 23 years, 21 only returned once, back in 2005, a single visit across more than 2 decades. Kevin says he even paid for 21, his sister, and their mother to make that trip because he wanted so badly to see his son and bring him around the family that loved him. But Kevin doesn't paint himself as someone who sat back and waited for updates. He says he stayed active and consistent, calling every couple of days to make sure his son knew he was still present. At first, he'd call while 21 was staying at his grandmother's house, so the whole—
I love my son. Yeah, I love my
What
son.
do you want? Do you want a relationship with him? Do you want to see him? Do you want him? Do you get what I'm trying to? What do you want?
I want him to pick up the phone and talk to me. That's
Yeah,
all I
like,
want.
what do you like? Don't.
That's
'cause
it.
you-
whole family could speak to him because he understood that kids build ties with grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, not just parents. Kevin wanted to keep every one of those connections alive, believing that strong family ties would keep his son grounded. The phone situation, he says, became one of the biggest sources of tension. When 21 needed a phone, Kevin agreed to pay for it because it meant they could communicate directly without depending on anyone else to pass messages. He covered international calling plans month after month, sometimes spending $20, $25, $40, or even $100 just to make sure his son never felt cut off from him. And according to Kevin, this effort to stay connected was only the beginning of a much deeper story he felt the world never heard. Here's the twist that Kevin says hit him the hardest. Even though he was paying for a phone so they could stay connected, 21 Savage never called him, not even once.
Right, I got you this phone. It's so that you could phone me and I can phone you. 5th month, $100. 6th month, $100. 7th month, $100. But you're not even phoning me. Why am I spending all this money on this phone and you can't even punch in my numbers, one, call me and hang up the phone so that I know I can call you back?
You know what it is?
Did you have this conversation with him?
I had this conversation with him plenty of times.
Kevin tried again and again to explain that the whole point of the phone was to help them communicate, hoping his son would reach out so he could call right back, but the call never came. Over time, the frustration built up, and Kevin eventually stopped paying for the phone bill, which he says was later used against him in a way he never expected. Kevin also reveals that he traveled to America in 2004 to visit his son, proving that he was taking real steps to stay involved in 21's life even from across the ocean. He says he helped during one of 21's early legal situations, paid for the court expenses, and sent money on a regular basis to support him. Every transfer had Kevin's name on it, meaning there should be records showing his efforts and his consistency, something he believes clears up any confusion about whether he tried to be present or not. Then Kevin shifts to the claims he says hurt him the most, the ones he believes were spread once 21 became famous. He explains that when his son first stepped into the spotlight, he publicly said his father was no longer alive, while Kevin was very much living in London, watching the world believe a story he knew wasn't true. He says it was painful to see those headlines, especially when he walked into local shops and saw his face in newspaper articles after 21's immigration situation made the news. But according to Kevin, when he tried to share his side of the story, nobody in the media wanted to hear it, leaving him feeling erased from a narrative that involved his own life. Over time, he says the story shifted again, changing from claims that he was gone to claims that he struggled with unhealthy habits, something that hit him deeply because it didn't match the truth he lived. During the interview, Kevin addresses these accusations with a level of disbelief and emotion that shows how much it affected him. He explains that growing up, there were moments when other people around him experimented with things he wanted no part of, but he never followed that path because he had strong influences who kept him grounded. He says he worked hard to stay focused on music, family, and positive choices, which makes the accusations even more painful for him to hear today. Kevin's story in this chapter shows a father trying to hold on to his relationship, fighting to stay connected, and struggling with the weight of being misunderstood by the public and by the son he still cares for deeply. Kevin explains that he grew up in a home packed with strong values, surrounded by siblings who kept him in check every single day. Being the youngest of 6 meant he always had eyes on him, and he never wanted to disappoint his father, which made staying out of trouble a top priority for him. That background is why certain accusations hit him so hard later in life. The claim about substance use is one of the most painful things for Kevin because he believes it painted him as someone he never was, especially coming from his own son's public platform. He talks about working steady jobs, including time at the post office and working alongside his father, all while trying to maintain a connection with 21 Savage across 2 different continents. To him, being labeled unfairly felt like another blow on top of years of distance and confusion. Kevin also clears up the long-standing mix-up about 21's stepfather, since some people believe that man was the biological parent because of old photos floating around online. Kevin makes it clear that he has always been the biological father, and that this misunderstanding added another layer of frustration to an already complicated story. Then comes one of the most heated parts of the entire situation. The night 21 Savage was shot on his 21st birthday in 2013.
You got shot? I'm with my best friend. We in the car. It's my birthday. Somebody opened the back door, like, draw down. He didn't say nothing. He just started. A whole bunch of shots go off. I end up shot. He end up dead. Another one of them end up getting shot. I get out the car, run, knock on somebody's door, but I can't move this arm. Like, this arm over with. Motherfucker ain't coming to the door. I run back to the car, grab my phone. Police pull up. I get out the car, and I start walking towards police. Police draw down. I'm like, look, bro, I just got shot in this arm. I can't put this arm in the air. I can only put this arm in the air. Ambulance pull up. They put me on the stretcher, cut my clothes off. After that, they just changed them. That's when I really started rapping.
Kevin says the night started as a celebration, with 21, his friend Johnny, and one of Johnny's relatives all sharing the same birthday weekend. They had planned to get a hotel and enjoy the time together, but things shifted when Johnny asked 21 for help with sound equipment for his car, which led them to ride together in 21's vehicle. According to Kevin, that's when 2 armed men suddenly targeted them, turning a normal moment into a dangerous situation that changed lives forever. During the struggle, 21 was hit multiple times while Johnny tragically lost his life from the first shot. 21 later heard that one of the attackers ended up paralyzed, though he never knew the full details about the second person involved. This moment added to the losses he had already faced, including the passing of his close friend Larry 2 years earlier. Kevin says he found out about the shooting while he was at work and the news broke him instantly. He reached for the phone to speak to his son, wanting to understand what 21 needed from him and how he could help during such a hard moment. When they finally spoke, Kevin says his son told him not to come to America, which left him torn, especially since public interviews later suggested that Kevin never tried to show up at all, something he strongly disagrees with.
Say, you should have just went out there.
Just go.
What hospital was he in?
Find out when you get there.
From who?
From the papers, probably. He's famous, isn't it?
No, this was before he's
it was
famous.
before. Yeah, but you find out, man. Come on, man.
From
You'll
who?
find out.
This is Atlanta. Who?
The same way you phoned him, if you texted him, say, I'm in the airport, blood. Or do you get what I'm trying to say? It's a bit different, innit? I'm in America. Wait, come on, man.
Kevin explains that he wasn't given the hospital details, didn't know his son's address, and couldn't fly into a massive city with no direction and no information. On top of that, he had 4 other children at home in London, including a young child undergoing an important medical evaluation, and he felt he couldn't leave his entire household without clear instructions or support. His choice, he says, wasn't cold-hearted. It was realistic for the situation he was facing at the time. Then the story reaches one of its most emotional moments, the year 2020, when Kevin's other son, Terrell, 21 Savage's younger brother, was tragically killed in London at age 27. Kevin says handling that loss was one of the hardest days of his life, and in the middle of that heartbreak, he received a call from 21 for the first time in years. The timing left him torn between pain and relief because he was grateful to hear his son's voice again, but devastated that it took such a tragedy to reconnect.
It hurts me for the fact that it's all the interviews he done after when I was in my worst state. That's what hurts me. It's after the loss, then came all the my dad this, my dad that, my dad this, my dad that. Man, have some empathy. I just lost your brother. There's no reason to put me down even more.
For 2 weeks, father and son spoke regularly, rebuilding a bond that had been missing for so long. Kevin even got to meet his 2 grandsons through video calls, which meant everything to him, although he wasn't able to connect with his granddaughter because circumstances made it complicated. During this emotional period, 21 invited him to visit America, and Kevin says this invitation felt powerful because it came directly from his son, not through anyone else repeating messages. But right when things seemed to be moving toward healing, something happened that Kevin refuses to fully explain. only hinting that a behind-the-scenes event stopped the visit from happening. He doesn't go into detail, but it's clear the moment left him disappointed and confused all over again, creating another twist in a story that has already been full of unexpected turns. Kevin recalls a moment that shook him, a message where 21 Savage brought up a situation about $10, claiming Kevin never helped him with that amount. Kevin says that if his son needed $10, he would have sent it instantly, and that every transfer he ever made carried his name on the mother's bank records. After that exchange, communication shut down again, and Kevin was left watching from the sidelines as 21 traveled to the Dominican Republic with a companion, hoping they would talk once he returned, but the call never came. Kevin then explains how the immigration situation shaped those travel choices, since certain territories were open for movement even when the United States wasn't an option. From here, Kevin speaks on what he calls long-term parental alienation, saying that when 21 was very young, the mother pushed the idea of calling the stepfather a father figure in another language, something Kevin says his son didn't feel comfortable with. He believes this created an early divide that grew wider as the years went on.
Me and my daddy in like a weird place because he got his side of how he look at it. I got my side of how I look at it. I kind of understand, like, okay, if your child moved to another country, it's kind of hard type shit. But from a child point of view, all I can do is go off the emotion that I felt as a child. Like I can't tell you how I would feel about it as an adult.
Right.
Because the hurt come from when I was a child. You feel what I'm saying?
This leads Kevin into the deeper emotional side of parenting dynamics. He talks about how breakups often leave the father trying to keep up from a distance while the mother remains in the home with the child every day. He feels this creates an imbalance where the father is always trying to meet expectations that keep shifting, making the relationship harder to sustain. Kevin also mentions the painful distance between 21 and the rest of his paternal family, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, none of whom have regular contact with him. When Kevin's other son, Terrell, passed away, he says 21 had reached out to him shortly before, but time ran out before they could rebuild anything. To Kevin, this showed how deep the separation had become for the entire family. Kevin explains that this situation wasn't just a disagreement about visiting schedules, he sees it as losing connection to an entire family line and history. He speaks on how 21's music career grew while certain claims about their relationship also became part of the public story. Kevin says he could have revealed information that would have caused problems for 21 when his fame was rising, but he stayed quiet because he didn't want to hurt his son's future. Kevin says he is proud of 21's accomplishments and grateful that his grandchildren will be financially safe, but he's deeply hurt by the way their relationship has been described through music and interviews. He recalls how painful it was to hear songs released after Terrell's passing that painted him in a negative light, especially while he was dealing with the grief of losing another child. When he heard lyrics suggesting he broke the mother's heart decades ago, Kevin felt like old wounds were being reopened for the world to hear. He also points out what he sees as an ironic part of 21's success, the idea that he portrays a lifestyle that makes it hard for him to enjoy simple parent moments with his own children. According to Kevin, constant security and public expectations make everyday family activities difficult. He says fame can buy comfort, but it can't bring back the loved ones 21 has lost or replace the peace he wishes his son had found earlier. Kevin reflects on the losses, Larry, Johnny, Terrell, and says he wishes 21 didn't have to experience so much pain on his path to success. He believes his son has carried heavy emotional weight for years, and he wishes he could take that burden away, even just a little. At the heart of everything Kevin shares, he says the most important piece is communication. He believes that true relationships grow through talking, listening, and being open, not just showing up physically. He says he has tried to keep communication going for over 20 years, but a relationship needs two people willing to stay connected.
At that point in time, did you think about putting everything else aside and try to reestablish a relationship with the father?
I did, and we got on the phone, and he started doing some things that rubbed me the wrong way. Like just asking me for shit, like too early. And like, I kind of like fell back. And then like, you know, like when I do interviews, these questions come up and I'm truthful. So I think that might've rubbed him the wrong way.
And that's where things kept breaking down for them. Kevin lays out his story as a picture of a family divided by distance, misunderstanding, and complicated decisions, with each chapter adding more layers to an already emotional history. He says he has never wanted fame or money from his son, only a real conversation, the chance to reconnect with him and spend time with his grandchildren. After everything Kevin shared, one thing hits the hardest. This story isn't just about fame, rumors, money, or headlines. It's about a father who still hopes his son will one day pick up the phone and speak to him from the heart. No matter how many years passed, no matter how complicated the journey became, Kevin says he's always been ready to rebuild, even if it starts with one simple call.
Listen, there's only one thing I need to say, and I've said it to you on the phone. Shea, I love you, and I want the best for you. That's all I need to say. I want the best for you, and I love you. I'll never stop loving you. I'll never stop loving you from the time it was 7:36 on October the 22nd. That's exactly the day with time he was born. I've never stopped loving that boy. I love that boy with all my heart. What are you talking about?
He's not asking for gifts, recognition, or a spotlight. He just wants a chance to know his son again and be part of his grandchildren's world, and that emotion shows every time he speaks about them. It's a reminder that behind all the charts, awards, and interviews, there's a real family trying to make sense of years of silence and mixed stories. And that's what makes this saga so heavy. 2 different versions, 2 different lives, and one broken connection sitting in the middle waiting to be repaired. Whether the truth leans one way, the other, or somewhere in between, it's clear this family has wounds that only time, honesty, and real communication can heal. If you're locked into stories that dig deep into hip-hop's real-life drama, emotional twists, and behind-the-scenes history, make sure you tap in with BarzBuzz, because we're bringing you the stories nobody else wants to unpack. The world hears the music. We're here to break down the life behind it. If this saga had you shook, wait till you see what's next. You already know what it is. BarzBuzz got the real, raw, and unfiltered breakdowns. So don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment, and share this with someone who needs to catch up.